Cap.
I'm Signoff.
And we're with Particle.io, and this is Breaking Bitcoin.
Welcome to Breaking Bitcoin, recorded live in the studio. It is Wednesday, the middle of the week, and it is the 8th. I had to look. It's the 8th. It's been a morning. It is the 8th, 2020, New Year. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. This is your daily source for market updates, sentiment, and news for traders. I am Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at crackingcryptocurrency.com. Shout out to everybody tuning in today from across YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live, and on Roku with the Investor News Channel app. Make sure to support what we're doing. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us over on Twitch and the Tweetor and DLive, of course. All right, we're going to be giving away some lemons. We're going to be doing the YouTube comment giveaway. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin and the current rejection that we're getting on the daily. We're going to be talking about World War III fears. We're also going to be talking about Monero, which is up over 30%. We're going to talk about the recent upgrades that have been made to its network and whether it is a potential addition to one's portfolio and how to possibly trade it as well, how to respond to some of these events. We're also going to be talking about New York State has just proposed a new local digital currency. This is the first time that we've seen a state, an individual state of the union, propose their own state digital currency. We're going to see how this kind of works out. We've seen this not go down well. We've seen this not go down well for individuals. How is it going to work when an individual state proposes an idea, especially one as large as New York? Anyways, we've got a lot to talk about today. If you guys would like to, if you guys are serious and committed to improving your trading ability and experience, and you would like to work with a team that deals with statistical probability and verifiable edge, make sure to check out everything that we're doing, educating traders and building up our services at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Come trade with the fastest trading education group on the interwebs in the cryptocurrency space. Very proud to say that. Thank you guys for all the continued support. We're going to get any questions that you guys drop in the chat. The moderators will grab and put in the questions and answers segment. We're going to have a punctuated show today. We're going to get right into the analysis right here. After the analysis, we'll do the crypto comment giveaway. Then we'll get into the news, and then we will get into your questions. And then I've got a lot of trading to do today. So hopefully you guys trade safe, follow along. Let me know if you have any questions and leave the comments down below. Let's get going. All right. We'll return to this in just a moment. So here we have the daily. We do have Bitcoin open up on the daily as we are wont to do. And as the daily kind of closed and as the daily candle has pushed throughout today, the daily timeframes, let's start with the daily timeframes. The daily timeframes are signaling again from the initial signal. Let's talk about the initial signal that we talked about. From the initial signal that the first actual trending signal that most likely most would have ignored, the reactionary push off the bottom, followed by two weekend candles of low volatility. And then this one right here, which originally was the daily long anyways, that would signal. That was the powerful signal from Wadatar explosion. Let's actually get, let me change my indicator suite that I have displayed right here. And let me get CC up on here. Boom. Here we go. So right here was the initial long signal. We had two weekend days of volatility. We had a following signal here, and this one right here as well gave you a secondary signal from WAE. And it's unclear, I don't know right off the top of my head, if this, actually you still would have hit take profit one on this long wick to the upside. Clearly we have, let's talk about also where we're operating in Bitcoin's price. We had laid this out on the Coinbase chart a while ago. We were talking about our lower levels of demand and our overhead level of supply. Again, as you guys are aware, there's been a couple of my attempts to enter into the weekly short position from this area that I've been talking about for quite a while. Obviously, we've had a very dramatic run up. Sentiment has turned extremely bullish. A lot of individuals just somehow irrationally believing that Bitcoin will just continue to climb to the sky, up and up and up and up and up. And as I said, and as I've maintained for the last 3 days, I'm not convinced about this. And this is the area that, again, I historically wanted to be short from. However, picking tops and bottoms is not the best way to do things. So we've gotten our first initial sell-off from our overhead significant level of supply. We've seen some large orders, very, very large orders that were forming walls at around the $8,200 area and around the $8,300 area get closed out and settled. So a lot of huge ice block sell orders have been cleared out, giving price the momentum to push up as high as it did. Unfortunately, again, just as I said, that moment in the market where psychologically you begin to feel like you're a fool for not being long and like price will just keep going to the upside and you're going to miss the biggest run of your life if you don't get in. That moment is almost always the same for everybody. And last night we had obviously the fundamental We had kind of the fundamental event of Iran bombing a U.S. base in Iraq, and all of the fears of, is this World War III that we're going to be experiencing? What is the retaliation from the United States going to be? So far, I'll keep my comments limited on that. But overall, I do believe that it's very significant how at least the executive branch responds to this, because I do believe this might be telling on whether or not we've reached the actual top of the stock market for the year 2020, whether it's downside from here. And obviously, cryptocurrency responding, we can see naturally by rising up, which gives me a lot of conviction in the space that I have decided to put my faith in. Obviously, it takes a lot of courage. And I want to mention this. If you guys are watching this channel, if you guys are trading cryptocurrency, if you guys are in our Discord community, then that just kind of goes to show how far of the head of the curve you are, as opposed to regular individuals that are just either afraid, uneducated about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general, and not really investment or trader savvy. And here you guys are at the front of the front, avant-garde, as they say over in the French. And you guys are clearly making it work for you, because I've seen, again, you guys have been consistently around and supporting us for the 2-year history of the show. And I'm very, very grateful for that. So, but anyways, we are currently experiencing what seems to be, what is obviously our first significant sell-off, pushing price all the way down, almost about 25, almost 50% actually, of the upwards progress that we made yesterday. Now, we have had our first initial buyback, but as the daily candle looks right now, it does not look very, very sexy. Now, for those of you who want to be conservative, or excuse me, for those of you who want to be aggressive, then on the meso timeframes, again, the meso timeframes today are currently not full-scale short. They're still consolidating. Although we are completely overextended on the meso timeframes, we're not quite there for a short position. Maybe moving into tonight's evening, maybe moving into tonight's daily close. Interested to see how the daily candle closes and just how far will be this kind of initial sell-off. Now, the things to be watching for are going to be forming a lower high off this initial sell-off. And then again, if we start pushing up from there, might lead to the conclusion that we have actually broken out of the range. But you never assume trend directional change from a speculative perspective, or excuse me, from a discretionary perspective, generally on the first move into the upside. So just as I naturally do last night on Crypto Twitter, a lot of individuals flipping bullish for the first time, like at the top. And when the entire market starts chiding people who haven't bought yet, that's also a pretty good time to be looking for an alternative position. So am short, still short, and pretty happy about that actually. So, it took a lot of hand holding over the last couple of days for individuals that are trading along with me anyways. Of course, individuals in the group are building their own strategies and trading their own methodology, and some having incredible success, as I know from the members lounge and from the DMs that I'm doing, as well as the mentoring sessions that I've been doing over the last week. But for those following along directly with my trades, took a little hand-holding last night when individuals kind of wanted to capitulate right at the top. So, yeah, but we did not, and we are back in the profit zone. So things are good, things are well. My personal trades are well. Again, the intraday timeframes had signaled for about 3 shorts today, of one of which would have been a loser, 2 of which would have been fairly successful winners, actually. As I said, the meso timeframes are not committed to a directional bias. Obviously, the meso timeframes for screaming to take profit, but they're going to be doing that when we have an extended, fundamental-driven, kind of bullish, extreme bullish push like this, which they were. So the daily, again, there were multiple daily long signals which one could have caught. From a trending perspective, we are currently, again, looking like we are initially rejecting quite hard from the stretch above our supply zone. And again, for those unfamiliar with that, that was going to be the area of our weekly EMA cluster. So let's take a look at the weekly perspective here. Weekly EMA cluster, let's take a look at that. Weekly EMA cluster, we can see we ran all the way up to the weekly 21 exponential moving average. We are currently trading above both the 13 and the 55 weekly exponential moving averages. We did soar a little bit above, traded above the weekly 21 exponential moving average, but have sold back down in between them. And we still have the looming, if we actually end up closing, if this is a rejection, then almost assuredly we will be getting that 1355 weekly EMA cross under, which, again, a lot of conviction to send us at least down to the weekly 200 simple moving average and that high volume node that we determined utilizing volume profile, visible range, as well as other indicators identifying key levels of supply and demand. The order books are stacked up to the up and downside. So there is a lot of work for bears to do to push us back down into the range. But over the last 6 months, we have seen the overwhelming power of sellers in this market. And from what we can currently see on the daily, at least, it seems like individuals are taking advantage of this because the large volume has come in. This is the daily. We did trade above the 200 simple moving average, big, what one could consider a liquidity grab, a capture rate. But we actually are going to be closing back underneath it. And again, depending on the exchange that you're looking at, you might actually have a little bit of flexibility. So I know that some individuals are saying that we actually closed underneath the 200 simple moving average, meaning that if you take that stance, then we actually never did close above it, or we traded above it, but we certainly didn't close a daily above it. So we got a lot of interesting things coming in. Obviously, it's a very exciting time in the market. I think that, as I said last night, I said this in the Discord. I also said this on Twitter. I said that last night was not the time to be buying. Last night was the time for taking profit. And I'm happy for those who did. I'm happy for those who kept their head about them over the last few days because it was quite a wild ride. I hope you guys were able to profit. And for those who didn't, don't sweat it. I think that a lot of people in cryptocurrency typically don't step back and look at the broader picture of how the market works. These kind of things happen all the time in Forex, right? Which is where I previously come from in the trading arena. You're going to get a fundamental news event. Obviously, the last few days, I think, were heavily spiced with this World War III tension and kind of political instability. And now, obviously, other nations kind of stepping into the geopolitical scene aside and, kind of saying, well, if Iran can vent their tensions on America, then maybe. So we've got Indonesia and we got other countries that are popping off now. Which is, I guess, typically how world wars start, right? There's a problem and it erupts. And then, this guy over here is like, you know what? I never liked this other nation anyways. And then the other country's like, I never liked that nation anyways. It's very much like a family reunion when everybody has had a little bit too much to drink. And then all of a sudden, Uncle Bob says that, you know what, Cheryl, I never loved you anyways. And then it really pops off, right? And all of a sudden you've got cousin Tom over here who said, I never really loved you anyways. Maybe you guys don't have a family like that. I don't know. Maybe just me. Moving right along. Anyways, an interesting portion of the market. Anyways, premium members will be getting. Actually, what I'm working on right now, finally, actually taking the time to finish these off, is I'm still working on finishing up and optimizing and perfecting our signal delivery system. So premium members are going to have noticed an upgrade to that. Been working heavily on this over the last few days. So again, while the market is moving and I'm already positioned directionally, I just put my head down and work, as I think most people should, perfecting the automated strategies that I'm going to be pushing in to the members who are going to be receiving that upgraded feature as well. Obviously, we just kind of sewed up and finished off the discretionary the discretionary trades from our analysts, the signal delivery system for that. So that is optimized. That is perfect. So now any individual looking to follow along or copy trade an analyst who is working for Cracking Cryptocurrency, they can follow along with more nuanced information than I think really anybody out there in the space is delivering as a signal provider. So they can see their risk, their percent of equity, whether every single individual entry is a limit or a market entry, what their total risk percentage is. We can calculate hedge trades differently. There's so many features and functionalities that we added in for the analysts to input trades, which is good. And then also for the members to follow along with that. So very proud of that. I want to give a big shout out to all of my team members who are working on that. Obviously, one individual in particular, you know who you are. I won't mention you so that you don't get inundated with DMs asking you to design this and that, but you are a rock star, my friend. It's been an interesting few days, guys. It's been an interesting few days. Continuing to work very, very, very hard. And what we'll be rolling out with over the next few months, I'll be sewing up and finishing the last few videos in the Pathways to Profit Technical Strategy Building course. I'm going to spend the next few months working on optimizing automated systems that will be piped into our Discord and into our signal delivery system. And then following that, I'm going to begin working on our discretionary reversion to the mean strategy trading and reversal trading as well. All of those will be added to the Online Trading Academy. And then we'll kind of be branching out into Forex and traditional assets as well, stocks and commodities, particular strategies for those as well, and with signal delivery for all of those as well. So really exciting year for 2020. I'm really, really proud of the community you guys have helped us build. And I'm really, really proud and inspired by all of our team members who continue to work hard every single day. I mean, this is really amazing what we get to be able to do. So that's why I'm being a little punctuated with the show. I think we're going to have to start speeding these streams up, if not potentially change the time, because as my workload increases, as more happens, we're either going to need to do the show earlier or later, because as more people as more people come online to finish out some of these products and services that we want to offer to our community, I'm going to need my afternoon hours. And currently the show takes up a little bit of my time. So, your guys' thoughts and comments on that would be appreciated, because ultimately this affects you as viewers of the show. So, what would you guys like to see? Just very quick shows. Would you guys like a show in the evening? We could do maybe a longer stream in the evening if that's the case then. Potentially, we could do the show very early in the morning. No changes that we're going to be implementing immediately, but just stuff and things to think about, guys. So anyways, let's finish up with Bitcoin right here from the weekly perspective. Let's finish off with that. From the weekly perspective, we can still see, again, we were on here with the EMAs anyways. We are still just getting a reactionary push back off of the bottoms, right? And yes, a very nice, beautiful push. But again, if we look, again, this market cycle right here looks very akin to this market cycle right here, as opposed to this market cycle right here. And as we can see, the first time that we kind of come down here, this is the weekly 100 simple moving average. We do come down and test the weekly 55 exponential moving average. We bounce up, we close over our 21 EMAs. Then we come down to the 100. We bounce up and close. We actually close 2 weeklies above the first time. We close 1 weekly above the second time. We're talking about the 21 weekly exponential moving average. We come back down to the 100 simple. We come back up. We reject from the 21 EMA, and then we stay underneath the 21 EMA. Again, this is following the 1355 exponential moving average crossover. So as soon as that crossover occurs, we do close 1 weekly candle above the 21 EMA, immediate rejection. The second push back up is followed by an even stronger rejection from the 21 EMA. We don't even get above that. Which is kind of overall what I'm expecting here. Still, of course, have my mind open to being wrong about this and being on the wrong side of the market. These things happen. I'm not going to get it right every single time, and that's fine. Because if this is actually the real bottom, if 6K was the bottom, then we have an entire bull market ahead of us. But I will be darned, and I think that this is what separates a professional from an amateur, because I'm seeing a lot of amateurs chiding individuals on Twitter right now for being patient. The difference, what separates an amateur from a professional, is patience, right? Is patience. I've been making money trading for quite a long time, and I have years ahead of me to make money. But again, the moment you start wrong stepping and engaging in groupthink and engaging in an irrationality because there's very large candles, that is the moment you slide from being a professional and become just a random button presser, and now you're a rank amateur again, right? And there's nothing wrong with being an amateur. This is the role that everybody's going to be in before they get to be a professional. So keep your wits about you, keep your head about you, and trade safely. Above all, of course, individuals. Now, it is 12:19. So overall, again, let me just summarize here for you guys. The daily is pretty much screaming at us to take profits. The weekly is still proposing. Worst case scenario, we can actually get another push up on the weekly. We can still close that second weekly candle above. Again, it's probably going to be fairly weak. We are currently in our overhead supply area. So from the weekly or from the daily perspective, this is kind of the no-brainer area to begin targeting for shorts. I think that a lot of people would want to see some confirmation. So waiting to see how the daily closes today, seeing if we do close on this rejection hammer candle, or excuse me, inverted hammer candle. And seeing if we can get some follow through for another consistent day, because again, that's going to be potentially pushing us all the way back down into the $7,000 range. Or this is just going to be which would be rare to see a pullback like this, or this is going to be just a pullback. But from the daily perspective, from the daily perspective, this does not so far look like a pullback. This looks like rejection. So we'll see. We'll see how low we can go. The meso timeframes are uncommitted as to directional trades. So for those looking for initiation on the meso timeframes, you're going to have to wait probably a few hours, maybe even for another 4-hour close, or wait until this evening's daily close to get an actual entry signal for a short trade. And the currently the volatility coming in on the lower timeframes is actually still quite high enough to scalp, and I think probably will be for at least a few more days. It has been for the last 4 days. Volatility's been extremely high, and we have not seen the contraction of that volatility yet. But just keep in mind, I'm going to say this because people always get wrecked when this happens, man. Bitcoin puts in some big candles, and all those strategies that you learned, all those scalping strategies that you learned tend to work very, very well, right? And then volatility dries up and you're back to wondering why only directional strategies work. So for those of you who have been successfully following the lower time frames and just nabbing profit hand over fist, keep in mind that is likely to begin not working very well if we actually consolidate at these higher levels, which would actually be quite a bullish sign to see at this point in time. So we'll see how swift the rejection will be, and then we will be fairly confident of our directional bias. Again, just from a simple supply and demand area, we are in an overhead area of demand. We do have we are in the midst of a significant resistance cluster. So be careful and be safe out there. and wait for the trend to reverse, probably before entering into those directional shorts. If you want to be conservative, again, aggressives are going to be initiating shorts directly from this level with invalidation. Many metrics for invalidation: 200 simple moving average overhead, 21 weekly exponential moving average overhead, utilizing your own personal daily baseline, utilizing your own daily just stop loss based off Quadriga ATR, one of our proprietary indicators. Lots of metrics for you guys there. So we got to get into the news. So let's do the crypto comment giveaway. I want to thank today's crypto comment giveaway sponsor. Oh, whoops, this button. I want to thank today's crypto comment giveaway sponsor, Spectre Security Coin. Make sure to go check them out over at spectresecurity.io. And this is the portion of the day where we select a random YouTube commenter to win. So if you guys would like to win some 8,000 Spectre Security tokens, make sure to leave a comment down below. Let us know what you learned. Let us know what you like. Tell us if you don't even like it. It's okay. It's all good. We're going to randomly pick a winner on yesterday's video. And it was me. It was me. Congratulations, Cracking Crypto. You are amazing. No, we'll pick somebody else. It was DIY Guy. He says, subscribers just cracked the all-time high. Congratulations on 7K to you and all those people behind the scenes we don't see, and there are many. Thanks for providing a safe space where everybody is welcome. Peace, bro. Thank you, man. Highly appreciated. You've been an ardent supporter of the show, and I consider you a friend. Thank you, DIY Guy. Hopefully you're doing fantastic today. You've talked to me in the Discord. Hit me up, my friend, and I will send you some XSPC. Now, let's get into today's crypto currently segment and keep it going quite hot because we've got a lot to talk about. Our first story of the day is going to be concerning New York State. Now, believe this or not, the state that is somewhat infamous for being kind of like arm's length about cryptocurrency has proposed in their legislature to innovate and create a localized state digital currency. This blows my mind. I mean, it doesn't really blow my mind. It's just surprising, extremely surprising to see from New York. So kind of sending me for a loop. But New York City lawmakers are proposing a, quote, hyper-localized digital cash that would run on a peer-to-peer payment platform being dubbed, quote, an inclusive value ledger, an IVL. Whew, man, something about that acronym doesn't seem right to me. Now, the idea is, it's not law or anything. It is currently being floated by New York State Assembly member Ron Kim, Senator Julia Salazar, and Cornell law professor Robert Hochlet, who, in a true crypto fashion, have published a white paper elaborating on the concept, stemming back from November 2019. Now, the white paper cites benefits familiar to those of us in the crypto space, namely, quote, cutting out the middlemen from a payment processing, or from the process of, from processing a payment. You guys are following me, while serving the people of New York and giving them access to this. Now, with the state, of course, in the scenario, still remaining as a sort of mediator in the system, with the state remaining a sort of mediator. Now, this proposed digital doesn't actually rise to much of a true decentralized cryptocurrency in any way, state, shape, or form. The funds are fungible. There is, it's not censorship resistant. It is centralized. It is, payments can be revoked. It is not, there's no final settlement that you can actually rely on. Although the transactions are set up to be peer-to-peer and feeless, no less, by the way. Instead of a truly distributed ledger, the ledger is going to be taking the form of a master account that is going to be maintained by the New York Master Account Administrator. Man, they like long names and titles. Have you taken a look at the governance protocol for Ethereum, which, quote, can take the form either of the public treasury of the governmental unit in question or a legal trust settled and administered by that unit. Oh, that was a whole lot. Now, what does that mean? It really just boils down to the fact that they're going to be electing some form of centralized autonomous authority to actually have management over the system. So again, very, very clear here. But of course, could we expect to get a decentralized cryptocurrency from New York State? Of course not. It is just, again, what you guys are seeing here is not really the government embracing the ethoses whatsoever of decentralization. They are embracing the technology of blockchain to push the societies forward faster toward eliminating cash, which is kind of the last vestige of government lack of control over your financial life. The government would desire complete control and authority over your financial decisions and history. Advertisers want it. Google wants it. Amazon wants it. The governments want it. They all want it for the same thing. Command and control. I would argue that Google and Amazon, unlike a lot of individuals that believe differently, I don't actually think that they have some desire to control and rule the world. They just want to make money. The governments, however, are in the business of making, of command and control. The governments want it for power and to profit themselves in their battle against other nation states, because this is a dog-eat-dog world that we still live in, ladies and gentlemen. So this is not governments embracing decentralization or wanting to make society better for the citizens. When do they ever do that? Again, I would argue that the private market has produced technology that has made our private lives better. But as far as governmental policy and approaches toward our lives, the government just gets it worse year after year after year after year after year after year after year. I mean, literally. You go back 100. You go back in America, anyways. Let's go back 150 years. The government. If the government sent officials, like, people used to answer the door with the gun, right? Nowadays, you stretch forward 150 years, a lot of people in America begin to feel that the government is becoming autocratic or totalitarian. So you guys see that, over time, centralized structures of power ossify and become less and less relevant to actually improving the lives of the citizenry. And the private market continues to innovate and improve the lives of the citizenry with things like cell phones and things like, let me give thanks to the things that make my life better on a daily basis. Thank you, API keys. Thank you, TradingView. Thank you, Google Pixel 4 XL, right? Thank you, Rode microphone. All of those things, right? Those little tiny technological innovations improve the quality of my life. Let us not forget Mr. Dishwasher, Mr. Toaster Oven, and Mr. Refrigerator, all right? Because, again, we've had the refrigerator for quite a while, but, mine's pretty neat. Moving on. Make a video about it someday. But anyways, now, quoting this... just to make sure you guys understand, hold on, where that was ending up. The government is out for your cash. Cash is the ability to bypass the government and conduct transactions privately. By the way, so is Bitcoin. And that's why they're taking this stance. This is just the first step. Again, they have not struck down powerfully against decentralized cryptocurrency. It's quite difficult for them to do so. If it was easy to take down the Bitcoin network, the government would have done it. So all of these people who come out irrationally and say that Bitcoin can just be taken down by the government, yeah, sure, they could try. But they already looked into doing that, and they decided not to. Because it would have been too difficult. So the Bitcoin network is strong. Otherwise, it wouldn't be here. Keep that in mind, guys. Now, quotes. Now, Kim, in a public statement published, says that I believe that their proposal, the inclusive value ledger, again, this is their little name for this thing, has the potential to be truly revolutionary. No, it doesn't. It's just neat. It's just digital cash. China's already doing this. There's nothing revolutionary about what you're doing, man. The creation of a free public savings and payment platform that all New Yorkers can use, not only to pay for goods and services, but also to transfer money directly to each other through it, I guess, missing a quote, could fundamentally reshape New York into a fairer, healthier, wealthier, and more inclusive place for all. It's just going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Nobody's going to have cash. The government's going to know everything that you do. All financial transactions are going to be processed through the state of New York. We're also going to have drones flying around because we're going to know every time you pay, anywhere you pay. So you break the law, we're going to know exactly where you are and how you're spending your money. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to change lives. Jesus, man. Also, lawmakers noted the $55.7 billion that the state currently disperses in tax and remittance credits and transmission to an inclusive system that empowers all people to participate. No. Sorry, I read that completely wrong. I apologize. Lawmakers also noted the $55.7 billion that the state distributes in tax and remittance credits and other government benefits, that these would now be distributed using this digital debit credit ledger system. So even easier for the government to pay out money that we pay into the government to other individuals. It's going to be super easy now. Barely an inconvenience. Quote, we need to address the inequities that are built into our current economy and transition to an inclusive system that empowers all people to participate, said Senator, yeah, see, Freudian slip there, said Senator Sinister Salazar. Editorial spin right there. Yes. I just love, I think that it is the government's job to bring inclusivity and not the individual's job. Quote, sarcasm. Now, Professor Hockett added all valuable work in all valuable products and services, including presently unpaid care work and environmental cleanup, will be instantly compensatable, and all that is earned will be instantly savable and spendable. Yeah, I don't know. You guys are pretty terrible at valuing that stuff anyways, government. Now, although I think this bill kind of comes at an opportune moment for it to be introduced, for it to happen. Obviously, this is the long-term plan of all governments across the world. This is why China is pushing forward with it. This is why the European Central Bank is looking at CBDC, central bank digital currency. This is why the United States, Jerome Powell is talking about this as well, although they've backed off of it because the United States has a pretty sweet deal with their current, economic hegemony utilizing the United States dollar and the SWIFT system. But of course, we've had a lot of local shakeups lately, obviously with Libra and Zuckerberg, the Zuckbuck, bringing a lot of controversy to the scene, with Bitcoin having its rise, obviously a nice run in 2019 again. With China again implementing the DCEP, the Digital Currency Electronic Payment Network that they're going to be implementing, that they have already implemented. Again, there are already blockchain wands out there. So China is already it's not happening. It's there. The DCEP is up and running and live. It's already been transmitted to commercial banks. Money has already been tokenized or printed, and they're just going to be continuing to increase the reach of that over the next year, pushing for it heavily this year. Pushing for it heavily this year. They launched last year, The DCEP launched last year. So it's already here. China's already out of the gate with this. Now, clearly, the Pandora's box of modern digital currency has been opened, and we will likely see mounting global pressure for even resistant government bodies to begin adopting this technology or risk looking like Luddites to other countries. Obviously, Russia and other nations investing heavily in blockchain technology as well, but not so much decentralized cryptocurrency. Again, keep in mind, guys, remember this when you're looking as a long-term investor at what Bitcoin is, at what decentralized cryptocurrency is. It is going to be cash in the future. There is going to be no such thing as cash. Government wants to get rid of cash. Government is getting rid of cash. And things like Bitcoin, decentralized cryptocurrencies, offer you the only opportunity to pay for something with a modicum of privacy. It's going to be your only alternative in the future. So, if you're totally fine with every single transaction that you make being monitored and registered on the government master ledger, again, the master account system of New York, good. If you would like the ability to pay for whatever you want in the privacy of the transaction between you and who, decentralized cryptocurrencies offer that, right? Privacy is already, confidential transactions are already built into the liquid sidechain, coming to the Bitcoin network eventually. They're already built. Confidential transactions are now on the Lightning Network, meaning that it's already on second layer Bitcoin. So keep that in mind. And that's going to segue us nicely into our next story, which of course is going to be about Monero. It's impossible to have that conversation about private digital cash without talking about Monero, obviously the leading privacy coin. And of course, it is also up 30% over the past weeks. What might be the major factors behind this recent upsurge? And again, should we be looking at Monero favorably when evaluating our crypto portfolios? Is Monero different from the seas of red altcoins that just litter many's portfolio? Just tragic altcoin wreckage. Just boo. Of course. Now, Monero, of course, for those of you who don't know, is the biggest privacy-focused cryptocurrency by valuation. And it has seen a 30% gain in the past week alone, going from around $44 to $58 a coin. And this has put Monero in the top 10 of the coin market cap, which it hasn't been there for quite a while. Now, taking a look at what's behind this price increase, we can find that the Monero network's hash rate did reach all-time highs, causing a lot of excitement in the network. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong's recent comments voicing optimism towards Monero. And Monero's strong technology providing arguably industry-leading anonymity features in a time and an age when that becomes more and more prevalent. Monero has their kind of namesake by putting privacy at the forefront of their selling feature, whereas Bitcoin puts security and settlement and non-fungibility and non-censorship resistance at the forefront of their, marketing pitch is what you would say, right? Now, so in December, Monero did have a hard fork, which changed its proof of work protocol to make the cryptocurrency ASIC resistant. and thereby it mitigated against mining concentration on the network by specialized equipment or large dedicated operations. And I'm actually, I think that's neat and interesting that they did that. The switch was to the random X hashing algorithm. This was about a month ago again, and this resulted in a spike, an absolute massive spike in the network's hash rate. The network's hash rate did reach all-time highs. The Monero community has reminded everyone that such a change to the hashing algorithm means direct comparison to previous metrics is an apples to oranges comparison now, and therefore not an accurate gauge of an increase in mining participation on the network. However, the fact remains, this move signals to people looking for the long term that the team, at least, has a long-term vision to keep the Monero network ASIC resistant, which is a promising future for those who want to mine from their homes and those who believe in the decentralization effort in terms of mining, which of course applies to everything as a whole. This also helps prevent coordinated attacks on the network by ASIC-powered parties, which can easily overpower even large amounts of the non-ASIC hardware currently deployed on the network, as we have seen obviously with, I think, what was it? Just potentially one miner shifting from Bitcoin to BCH, which just occurred just a few days ago. And then all of a sudden they own 70% of the network's hash rate. So for those who think that the Bitcoin Cash network is secure, I mean, it would literally take like 2 miners willing to be unprofitable for a day to go 51% attack that network. It took 1 actually, potentially. So this is why BCH is largely, Anyways, moving right along. Now, over the past 2 years, Monero's had an interesting history, obviously. Monero has moved into the top 10, over the past 2 years, Monero has moved in and out of the top 10 spot on CoinMarketCap, and it has recently done so again, overtaking the likes of Cardano and Stellar. Has even gone on to surpass other well-funded privacy-focused projects with active developer and user communities such as Zcash and Dash. Given my opinions on Dash. Now, Monero remains as one of the only cryptocurrencies to provide full anonymity that blockchain analytics firms cannot trace. That they cannot trace. Companies like Chainalysis have been developing technologies to target Monero, but have been unsuccessful so far to date. Kimberly Grauer at Chainalysis said in a seminar in January 2019 that Monero remains the team's top priority for the years ahead. So it's always good to have the competition gunning for you. On a recent webinar by Jarek Jakubek, I'm going to try. He is a strategic analyst with Europol's European Cybercrime Center. He detailed how between the Tor network and Monero technologies, authorities were, quote, at the end of the road, end quote, when attempting to trace financial activity. Utilizing Tor, utilizing Monero, you're screwed. While complete, and of course, in an official Coinbase blog post, the CEO, Brian Armstrong, described how it will be the blockchain networks with robust privacy features that will go mainstream this decade. Now, while complete anonymity is arguably Monero's strongest selling feature, it should be noted, of course, that it could also represent Monero's greatest danger from the viewpoint of regulation and authorities. Privacy coins face mounting pressure from authorities, which, again, contrasts very nicely against the government incentives that we just talked about and their desires to eliminate cash. Cryptocurrency being digital cash and Monero representing potentially the most private of private digital cash operations out there. And we have seen this, obviously. We've seen the pushback from regulators against Monero specifically in the delisting of many leading anonymity-focused tokens in earlier in 2019, which we also covered. Thanks to the changing rules from the updated FATF travel ban, Monero was among the delisted privacy coins across a variety of exchanges last year. Now, the fears going forward, of course, is where traditional financial systems will slowly embrace more transparent cryptos, such as Bitcoin. These untraceable coins, such as Monero, will potentially never gain acceptance in the mainstream community and be permanently marginalized by authorities due to their inherently private nature. Now, with that said, if we judge Monero on price alone, the market is seeming to indicate to investors that it is perceived as the top privacy-focused cryptocurrency in the market today. For anyone who wants to add a privacy token to their portfolio, XMR arguably stands out as the best that the space currently has to offer, and the market seems to be responding to that. So we're going to ask, will Monero be able to overcome the historically strong $65 resistance area and continue to soar going forward in 2020? We're going to find out, and personally, I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. With that said, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, leave those about what we just covered in the comments section down below. and I will do my best to get back to you over the next 48 hours. We're going to have a quick word from our friends over at ByBit, and we're going to get into your question and answer segment. Let's go, baby.
This is Jason when he first learned about Bitcoin margin trading on BitMEX.
Why? Why? Give it back! Give it back! Oh, give it back!
This is Jason 6 months later after signing up for ByBit with the Cracking Cryptocurrency referral link found in the description below. Don't make the same mistake as Jason. Sign up today at bybit.crackingcryptocurrency.com.
All right, and we are back. We're back. Back to the daily. We can actually come down here to the hourly. Take a look at what we got. All right. Let's get to the question and answer segment of the show. Okay. First question here. Sorry. Let me just get this, make sure I update this. Let's see here. First question today is coming from, I'm going to try my hardest, man. I know that's probably Brian, and I just don't know how to pronounce it with somewhat of a Slavic overtone. But Brian Nestichoy? Nestikohi? I'm sorry, man. I'm terrible. My team is gonna razz me really hard on this one. He says, "Hey, man, great analysis. Could I please explain how our program works and is structured, as well as the costs to get premium membership?" Thank you for the question, my friend. All the information about our course structuring is available on our website, crackingcryptocurrency.com, or you can go to the short link, premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. We have multiple different packages depending on what your budget is or depending on what you want. Generally, among the value-added features are going to be access to our indicator data, are going to be access to personal mentoring from our team of analysts, and also going to be access to our resource database library, as well as access to our Pathways to Profit course, as well as access to our other premium webinars and strategy videos that we have online in our online training academy. So all that's going to depend on what you want. All of our members get access to our premium signals from all three of our senior analysts. Free community members already get access to our junior analysts as well, including their analysis as well as access to our indicator suite and access to our private community. So all the information's on there. You're just gonna have to kind of select exactly what it is that you want out of your trading, and we'll do our best to make it happen for you, my friend. We'll sit down to work out a plan. Now, as far as cost, that's all available on there as well. It's all available at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. And the way that it works, depending on where you are, is obviously we lay out how to build your own technical strategy via Pathways to Profit, and then we have specific strategy videos on different indicator suites, on different indicator combinations. We cover risk management, we cover exchange dependent trading, and we're adding stuff and features all the time, as well as updating individuals on our personal positions and providing our current analysis to the best of our ability as well from our senior analyst team. So really, really thankful for everybody who's in the group. It's been a good time over the last few days. So thank you for the question, my friend. And if you have any questions, you can send an email to support@crackingcryptocurrency.com, or you can talk to our live chat help on the website, crackingcryptocurrency.com. Now, sorry, I do realize that I was delinquent, and one thing that I need to do, my friends, is open up that crate for our T-Live viewers. All right, they know that I do it every day, but sometimes I think they sit there and they're like, is this guy going to forget about us? All right, so let's throw some lemons in there for my good friends, and we'll distribute those rewards. Wendy 2, thank you for the ice cream a few moments ago, my friend. Wendy 2 on D-Live, my good friend Wendy, asks, could we take a look at Uber? Yeah, sure. I'd love to take a look at Uber. Uber on the NYSE. Uber having a very nice run up today. Again, here we are with the hourly Watt Explosion. Wadatar explosion catching this trade right here. Do we actually close below the baseline here? No, we don't, although that would have been a little harrowing. If you're just using WAE, then potentially this one might have kicked you out, this initial signal. Very small loss, but re-entry right here. And overall, a very nice, beautiful run-up. Pulling up Quadrigo ATR, let's see here. Oh yeah, we would have snagged all 3 profits on that. Utilizing the 50-50 strategy, we're actually still in the trade. Time transformation might have had us out of this. It just depends on exactly how you're running your indicator suite and combo. Let's zoom out a little bit. So intraday, we've had a nice, beautiful run up on the daily. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, so we got the long signal right over here, man. Long signal right here. No, actually, we would have had to wait till this day right here. Depending on how you've made your indicator sweep. Again, closing above the baseline. Wadatar powerful signal. CCI dynamic above. The only thing that we see here is actually Minx being below. But if you're using Minx as a centered oscillator, not as a line cross, then you actually would have been fine, which is actually, I think, how most people are running it anyways. Maybe I'm a dinosaur and running mine as a line cross. But anyways, we do get the line cross on the very next candle. And now pulling out Quadrigo from the daily perspective. From the daily perspective. That would have been running us up all the way. Yeah, we've 1, 2, 3 TP strategy. We've hit at 9% on Uber, our third take profit. Let's see here. We are stretching into the overbought region on Minx, so a little hesitant to be putting on anything at this point in time. A little overbought, so we definitely don't want to be doing that. Definitely a time for profit taking. Again, very nice green candle, very nice profit taking. Pullbacks to the 20 Hall moving average around $32 would be optimum areas for buybacks. Or again, remember we are in a bullish trend, having a nice bullish day. A little wary of that hourly candle. But again, this kind of seems like a profit. This seems like a definite profit taking area for me, and waiting for some continuation. Again, on the daily, let's pull out our EMAs here and get a little bit of a wider perspective, getting rid of our baseline here. Yeah, daily 1355 crossover and a nice resulting above that. Kind of blowing above the 100 simple moving average as well. We don't even have a 200 DMA. We don't even have a 200 DMA here on Uber. It's so fresh, so new, so weak. Nice, just a nice breakout, man. Just a nice daily breakout. So 1, 2, 3, one would already be taking profits. Something like a 50-50 strategy, then you haven't gotten any sort of exit signal and you're looking to ride this, but definitely would not recommend entry. That's not the way that I trade. I don't trade breakouts like that. I wait for the good trending signal, and then that's about it. If you want to re-enter, you can utilize the lower time frames, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the 8 hour potentially. Good question, man. Trade safely. As far as like maybe long-term swings, I have no opinion on Uber. It's a fresh stock. It's highly volatile. This is for day traders and those who want to practice BTP. Look for serious trades. I have no opinion on whether Uber is going to be the future. So it's hard here says earlier and 30-minute quick summary would be great. Oh, so just like earlier price action? Sure, man. Let's go to BTC USD. We'll go over here to Coinbase, even though we're trading on ByBit. So just kind of the anatomy of the breakdown. Honestly, here we go. From the, we can actually kind of see this on the, hourly, right? Let's pull up, here we go. Let's pull up a very interesting indicator here. Volume. But this one's neat too. VWMA, SMA. This is pretty neat. Looking for this little bit of divergence. So from the volume perspective, we can just kind of see this, man. We can just see this, high volume spike on this last push up. We can see this on the hourly, and then we could just see volume falling off. We had our first kind of significant resistance. Price stretches to make a lower high, but it's unable to on high volume. And then we have a full breakdown of that. Now, really, again, the thing that really kind of trips your trigger is this hourly right here. This indicator that I have on the screen is volume weighted moving averages and simple moving averages. And we can see that the volume is beginning to flow out. We have our first real strong bearish sell candle right here. This is the first one we've seen. This is the first one we've seen since the beginning of the run up. Again, if we actually just kind of take perspective, There are no bearish candles that have almost any volume on them. And now we have a bearish sell candle on par with the volume of the previous pump candles, right? Of the previous pump candles. And again, it takes volume and directional bias to initiate a trend. Now, so far, over the last few hours, we are struggling to get pushed through, but what we can see that the bears are being successful. The sellers are being successful. Buyers are no longer supporting price. Now, we are still overall in a high volume node, so we actually can be ranging through here for a while, but we kind of went over longer term price predictions actually earlier. So just looking at the anatomy kind of at the breakdown, let's go down to that 30-minute time frame. Go down to that 30-minute time frame actually here for you. I mean, honestly, if you're being conservative and you're looking for the entry signal, as far as sharp reversals, I mean, obviously, anytime you get a huge volume spike, you can be looking to take profits is generally a good area because, trends are going to run up and then have blow off tops. But keep in mind, also, you're probably going to be doing something converse to that because you're trying to ride a bullish trend to the upside. Crypto Da Vinci, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. He says, hey, Justin, good morning. Can I take a look at PERL USDT? Of course, I'd love to, my friend. Let me get to that here in just a moment. Let's see here. Let me think here. I think simply, Wadatar explosion on the 5 minutes been catching these trends pretty nicely. But again, 30-minute is what it was originally optimized for. I utilize it on the daily. Yeah, I mean, for the first time, we can actually see, here's a 30-minute sell-off, right? Price rebounds above your baseline. Let's say we're utilizing the VW SMA as a breakdown. But overall, we can see through the majority of this run-up, we have increasing volume, we have increasing volume, we have increasing volume. Our fasts are staying above our slows. And finally, we see that shift and kind of change right here. So this is a significant shift and trend. I don't really see this as a pullback. This is a trend shifting. We have the trend initiating volume on this candle, and we're having the follow through right now. And I think that this is the first levy breaking, and I think people kind of want to be aware of the second levy breaking. But just be aware of the overall range that we're in. And again, low risk typically because these are highly volatile movements. We're getting more volatility out of Bitcoin than we've gotten in quite a while. So definitely keep that volatility low, or keep the risk low. Unless you're trading directly in your square, directly in your setup. But overall, I mean, this is just distribution at the top, right? So whenever you see this, after you've seen a huge run up, you typically are going to wait out a distribution period unless you have a good scalping strategy because the volatility was high. Of course, these are like 2% swings. And then take the trade in the new direction of the breakdown or the breakout. So if you get a new breakout after consolidation, after a big movement, you're going to continue on in that direction. Obviously, what we're seeing right here is this is distribution, and we're having a high volume sell to the downside, right? So, and unless we can break back up in that area, which would still probably be a good selling opportunity at that point because we've already seen a breakdown, we really need to reverse all the way and break to the upside of this range. I don't really view this as a stop loss hunt, right? I view this as, where's the volume? And is that movement having follow through? No, currently we are. So, and again, I'm already short, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. My directional bias as well. So please, factor my own bias into my analysis, please. I try to. Great question. It's hard. Hopefully you're doing good today, my friend. Tyler says, hey man, love the idea of a shorter stream and I love the idea of seeing you closer to the daily. Cool. That would be neat too, right? Because I think we could have more fun. I think that we could go a little bit longer sometimes. We could have some more audience engagement. If we did it kind of after my work day was over, right? Like after I've gotten done with my trading and we're just kind of hanging out looking at the charts. I don't know. There's a lot of different things that we could do, right? A lot of different things that we could do. Randall says, how much longer do I think XRP will exist? Even with the CEO pumping it daily, even hourly at times. I don't know. So overall, I have a fairly negative opinion of XRP, the crypto. But I mean, to be honest, so many people like XRP just from a social sentiment perspective. I could see it. I could see it, having a few more runs in it, right? Overall, I think we have to be very, very, very aware that it is highly unlikely to achieve, I think in my opinion, I think it's unlikely to achieve its stated goals or be overall a very good long-term investment. It's not an investment that I would feel secure with. And again, I rib on XRP all the time. But I also want to be hesitant about saying just because I think that it's a bad coin, it's completely centralized. It's kind of a slap in the face to the decentralized cryptocurrency movement. from a financial perspective, I mean, so many people like that thing, man. So many people like that thing. It's easy to sit here and laugh at them and laugh at them and laugh at them, but you got to kind of keep a level head around you. So yes, personally, like from an aesthetic point of view, and from a subjective point of view, I have a lot of distaste for XRP. But I don't think that people who are putting money into XRP, who are thinking that it's going to, 100x or 200x, I don't think they're silly. I think that they've got an investment thesis, and I wish them the best in that. Right. It's funny. I was actually looking at my ledger last night, right? It's been a while since I've looked at it. And because I normally just purchase crypto and just send it to the ledger, right? And I was talking to a couple team members last night. And I said, "Oh man, I feel like a fraud, guys. Here I've been making fun of XRP, and come to look at my ledger, and I have 21 XRP in there, man. $5 worth of it. I mean, I'm a fraud. I should never say anything negative about XRP. But I digress. So, I don't know how that got there. I swear it was there when I got the ledger. Rob says, Tesla's going ape shit. Let's take a look. Ooh, Tesla is having a nice good old run up, beautiful day in the woods, in the markets. Let's get rid of that. Let's bring back my traditional indicators, right, guys? Oh yeah, Tesla. I mean, this is just standard fare. What do we got? We get the initial signal here. This is our first long signal right here. We get CCI agreeing, everything above, everything's nice and beautiful. Get this nice pronounced run up. Minx tells us to take profit here, and we get the continuation signal here, actually. Or potentially here. It depends on how aggressive you're being. Either of these would have been okay, but this is the full confirm. This is the full confirm. But this is the close back above initial. This is the second close back above with WADA reconfirmation. And then this is basically just another long signal right here. So if we're going off of this one, we've already hit in TP1 and TP2. Got a third TP3 around 509.75. Around 509.75. So, shout out to the meme stock right here, guys. Tesla's doing good things, man. Tesla's doing good things. And I believe this is, so we can see down here the last time we talked about Tesla, right? We were talking about, I believe we were right around here. We were talking about this as a sell-off zone, this as a support zone, right? We hit that. We tapped into demand. We broke above. Look here. Look at this, guys. I mean, this is a BPC. If you guys want an example of a BPC, look, breaking resistance. You close above resistance, above supply, on a strong green candle with high volume, right? You see that right here. Not a candle that gets wicked or sold down into, and that's how you can tell the difference between a breakout and a stop loss hunt, right? Another run up, pull back, hold support, and gaps all the way up. What was that? 15% gap? Man, somebody stepped in and did some big boy things. Now Tesla up over 90%. More than Bitcoin in less time than Bitcoin. So big shout out, congratulations. I see over here on DLive, Ricky T, Forza World TV, and Wendy 2 coming in with the big wins. Congratulations, guys. Be careful out there with that Tesla, man. What goes up can come down very, very quickly. Do I think the overall equities market is topping out? It depends on how Trump responds to what Iran did, honestly, is my honest opinion. I really think so. So I'll let you guys know as we continue to move forward with that. PERL USDT for Mr. Da Vinci. Oh my God. That's some Fibonacci stuff on my chart. I believe that's the last time. So this is when, so Da Vinci, this is when you and I were looking at PERL right here, right? This is the last time we were looking at PERL right here. This is when, you and I discussed entering into PERL for the group, right? We've had a nice run up, pull back to that, run up. Let's take a gander here. Water explosion is not flipped negative, so we haven't gotten a trending signal to the downside. Let's look at our EMAs. Yeah, we did kind of get our rejection from the 55 EMA. We are pulling back basically to the 21, the 13 cluster. Kind of keeping a close eye on today's close would be kind of my signal for getting out. As far as the baseline goes, it looks like we are going to be closing below the baseline. We do have some decent sell volume off of that candle and rejection from resistance. So, I don't know. As far as my opinion on this, we had this run up. We broke above that level of resistance that we talked about, and this is where we entered. We had that nice first run up and profit taking opportunity, pull back, held that same zone, push up, but again, rejected from the same area. Kind of watching to see if we get a higher low out of this. As far as trending, this would be actually an early exit for me, clearly, because we're going to be closing below the baseline. I'm kind of waiting for reinitiation because we had another swing. Yeah, we had another stab up, potential trade right here on this close, which ran up about 10%. Let's see if we would have hit profit. Not that that's the way that we took the trade, but yeah, we would have hit take profit 1 on that. And then got out at break even right here over here yesterday. Now we're closing back below the baseline on some good sell volume. Momentum is shifting off. We are drawing down, but so far not a confirmed short signal whatsoever. But yeah, definitely an early exit for me, my friend. An early exit for me. But I think more akin to the way that you're going to be trading is you're going to be looking for this level to hold, right? You're going to be looking for this level to hold, right? You're looking for your trade thesis to be validated. You're looking for the big movement. For the big movement, but I don't know. You'll have to cancel that with your own thoughts and opinions. I know. Also, we've got a nice little baby trend line right there. Let's see if it can be validated. And Wendy2 asks, and this is the last question, guys. I gotta go. I've got stuff to do. Love you guys so much. You guys are absolutely awesome. He says, how about the blow off on gold today? Yeah, this is it's Bitcoin, man. Like we saw a big run up based on war fear, and now we're going to see some pullback, right? Now what happens next, are we going to get a second, or are we going to get a second leg up in precious metals? Are we going to get a second leg up in Bitcoin? Not sure what's going to happen. We need to let price settle. Wait for some consolidation and trade in whichever direction we break. Again, as I said, the dailies were screaming at us to take profit. And again, picking tops and bottoms is a fool's errand. So we'll wait for trending signals to the downside, wait for some of this to sell off a little bit, and then we'll be looking to enter into short to the downside on the daily time frame. It's going to take a little while for price to come back. We're a little stretched to the upside, which is good. Overall, I think that most trend following traders are going to be looking for opportunities to enter into the long side. Right now does not represent that opportunity. Meso time frames are now going to be signaling to go short. The last I was looking now at those charts as we were looking at them, and the lower time frames again have the volatility to be scalping intraday. Again, making sure you guys keep your risk low. Keep your risk low. If you regularly trade with 1% risk, I recommend chopping that in half because we're experiencing a lot of volatility. And the higher volatility we get, the more dangerous intraday trading is. High risk. And high reward, but again, high risk is difficult to ignore, guys. So yeah, with gold, I think I would love to see. It really depends. It really depends. If this is going to be, if we're gonna be able to brush aside what just happened, World War III is canceled, guys. Everybody back to work type thing, right? Then I think that precious metals and Bitcoin are likely going to come back down, right, and continue on. If this war really ramps up, then I think we can see more of this. So we'll really need to wait and see how the market responds to this. But my long-term thoughts and feelings about this is that this is kind of like that first itch. This is like that first itch at the fears about the traditional markets. We're already extremely overextended in them. But as I've said before, when markets are making new highs, you expect them to continue making new highs. Bitcoin is making currently continuing on its yearly lows from last year, even though we are up in the market. And gold is good. Long-term investment. I'm always going to recommend to buy gold and Bitcoin. My opinions on gold is that it does look a little bit better positioned, right, than Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin, I still struggling with the thought of it needing to come down to the $5,000 range, and we've gone over that as well. But again, significant technical rejection right now. Overall sentiment does seem to be overwhelmingly bullish, which is a good opportunity that we've seen sold into. So I think so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be waiting for that trending signal to the downside, allowing my intraday strategies to play as they should with lowered risk over the next few days, and waiting to see if we're going to have a really significant sell-off and consolidation and a continuation of the trend, or if we are actually going to get the trending signals to the downside. So time will tell. A little bit of patience. I think that people should be a little bit patient here. We're seeing the potential of a significant trend reversal here. So not really the time to be placing your bets. Better the time to be on the sidelines and taking profit off of this long, seeing if we're going to get another leg up, or seeing if this is all she wrote, and this was the movement that we've been looking for, the retracement back to the weekly EMAs, and down we go. So stay safe out there, guys, and trade with low risk. Again, low risk, because we're highly volatile and we've got some fundamental things coming on. Again, those who trade Forex, are already familiar with this because this happens all the time. Fundamentals come in, news comes in, and we just get these big old spikes out of nowhere that lay to waste the plans of mice and men. And I think that crypto, a lot of people have forgotten about that, right? Because you guys forget what 2017 was like, right? Where an altcoin would put out an announcement and you get a 30% candle, right? Like every other day. So remember, it can happen, right? Now, thank you guys so much for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Again, if you guys would like to join us, we are the fastest growing trading and education group on the interwebs. If you guys would like access to our indicator suite, to our mentorship, to our private Discord community, check out all the information, link in the description below, premium.krakencryptocurrency.com. Whatever you do, join the free Discord at discord.krakencryptocurrency.com, where we are doing our best to provide what we can to the community and build, again, fastest growing community in crypto on the interwebs. You guys are absolutely fantastic and amazing. Any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section down below. I will be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Trade safely, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.